Good evening, everyone. Nathan, happy Saturday to you too. Wonky, I hope that's how you pronounce it. Just let me know. Good evening. How's everyone's Saturday? Been pretty cold here today. Not been very nice. Everything's okay. Fine. So tonight, Medieval. Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you again. So today I've been working on some my Chaos Warriors. I've been in the mood. I've got my trolls. I got my trolls and mangler done last week, so I'm ready to start my Chaos Warriors. One. I'll say one. If I'm saying it wrong, just let me know. Nathan, trying your hand at highlighting for the first time. What are you highlighting? Now, I have got some water to drink, so I just got to make sure I'm not going to use this to clean my brushes. Yeah, so tonight I'm just in the mood to paint my Chaos Warriors. So obviously from a couple of weeks ago, we got like a tester miniature done. And then it's been working on these guys. So there's 2 coats of the red here at the minute. I've just done the fur. I think the first thing I'm going to do is just go over the flesh again. There's only one layer. I have tried to use different colours of flesh, but you can't really see it at the minute. I've got the 3 contrast fleshes: Fire Slayer, Gulliman, and Dark Oath. So I've tried using those, but they're a bit. I think I just need to go over them again. Nathan, you highlighting Terminators? To be fair, Terminators are not too bad to highlight, to be fair. A lot of nice sort of big edges to highlight. You can do your trick where you just run your brush using the side of your brush for most of it, to be fair. There's only a couple of places where you probably need to concentrate. George Wright, nice to see you again, welcome. Do I listen to music while I paint? If I do, what genre? Most of the time I have either like a stream on or just a YouTube video, or maybe an audio book. But music-wise, I tend to listen to like indie rock. I'm just sort of from that era, from like the early 2000s. But yeah, I just mainly have like a stream or a video. The longer the better, I think, just so I'm not sort of having to think about choosing something to listen to every like half an hour. What's this explaining these guys? So I've kind of been working on the whole, because I didn't know I'm trying to get a I don't know what the Age of Sigmar boxes are called now. These are called Vanguard boxes, but the Combat Patrol boxes for Age of Sigmar. So I've got the 10 warriors. I'm kind of trying to paint everything at the same time because there isn't that many miniatures. So there's the 5 Chaos Knights and the chariot. There's a few bits on the chariot. got the guys on the chariot. So most of the armor is going to be black. I think for the two characters, I might do a dark metal, just so they're separated out. I haven't decided yet. I've also decided on the runes, because you get a lot of runes around. You probably see like the recesses on the shield. You get a lot of runes around the miniatures and like the little stones and in the armor. So I'm probably going to use some Wraithbone probably the last thing I'll do. And paint in the recess, then use the orange contrast over it, so it kind of looks like it's glowing. Nathan, I thought the Terminators would be a good place to start. Yeah, they are. And they're really quick to highlight as well. The only awkward bit about highlighting the Terminators is probably the back of the legs. But you don't have to really highlight everything as long as you get most of the edges highlighted. But they are a good place to start. Try not to have an overloaded brush, I would say. So yeah, I'm going to just have a go at going over the flesh bits on the back here. Obi Stonks, evening. What's everyone been doing this weekend? Weather's not been that nice today, not like last week. I haven't really left the house. Johnny, I'm just now discovering that Auspex Tactics is your brother. Both my biggest inspirations and help of getting into this hobby. Thank you for your contributions. If you've heard he's my brother, I probably started that rumour because everyone said I sounded like him. So I did reply to a lot of comments, but he isn't my brother. He's probably from around here though. But he's not. I've never met him. He's not my brother. So, but if there's any rumours around, it's probably because I started it. Yeah, but a lot of people say I sound like him. A first name. I'm actually still awake for once, and it's 2 AM. I'm glad you're here. We'll probably go for a couple of hours. See, it's always tricky with contrast. I know it. Sometimes you feel like it might not be enough, but sometimes just an extra layer might be too much. You've been working your way through the Horus Heresy. Yeah, it's a good series. I think I read the first 6 books. I think I got up to the first Dark Angel book. But then I kind of got distracted. I haven't really been back to it since. I have read some here and there, and I've read the Siege of Terror series, and I've got the last 3 books ready to listen to. It's just having the time. Another series that I really liked was the Black Legion trilogy. I've still got to read the last book of that, but the Black Legion trilogy is really good. As well, there's a book where it's basically at the end of the Unification Wars. I think it's called Valdor. Sort of talks about the end of the Thunder Warriors, and that's a great book as well, like a great one-off. I read the one with the lion, just to sort of see if his introduction back into the 40k universe. That was really good as well. Ballistic, welcome to the the live streams. Good to see you back. Any tips on working with resin models, specifically any tips on how to glue them together? Depends how big the resin models are. If you're working with resin that's say like an infantry size, or like a mangler squig size or something like that, you can get away with just using super glue. Obviously you need to clean your resin first, because there will be oils and residue on that, but you can just use washing up liquid, hot water, but try not to get it too hot, because hot water obviously it can warp the resin. So I'll just use lukewarm water with some washing up liquid, with a little bit of washing up liquid, or you can get some isopropyl alcohol, say the word, just to give it a clean, just to get rid of like the oils and stuff. But anything bigger than that, you probably want to get some epoxy resin, and that's the stuff that you mix together, especially for like the big vehicles that you get for Horus Heresy, because there's a lot of flat surfaces. Might be tough for super glue to sort of bond together. You've got 3 models. I will have a look. I'm going to catch up with the Discord tomorrow, just because I've been editing all week trying to get the video out for tomorrow. But tomorrow I'm doing a big catch-up day, so I'll definitely have a look tomorrow. And you feel free to ask questions in there. If you have any questions for me in Discord, just at Michael or at TableTopReady, because I'll get a notification that way then. Come in and question you. But yeah, if you've got like large tanks, you can get like epoxy resin or anything just infantry size. Super glue's good enough. Obi Stonks, I'm working through Horus Heresy books. I'm on book 11, but I might just skip to Siege of Terror and come back to the filler books. Yeah, that's kind of what I've done. I feel like a lot of the books are filler. I think the first few books are important, and then the Siege of Terror, and then I think if you just want more of it, I think you go back and just read it all. I know there's dedicated books for the Primarchs. So if you have a favourite Primarch, I think it'd be probably worth reading, or favourite chapter, it's probably worth reading those books in the series. Depends how like dedicated you are, I suppose. Zachary, welcome to the stream. Got White Dwarf 509, working on armatures. Any advice on making them usable for Imperial and Chaos? Honestly, you could probably just paint them however you want, and if you wanted to use them for Chaos, you could just say that they're like a traitor. They're traitors. They don't necessarily have to probably worship Chaos. You can just make them look however you want, and just say, because I would have thought like the traitor Admech start with look just pretty much like the Imperial versions anyway. Maybe they're undercover or something like that. It's just your backstory. But you can make your miniatures look however you want. That's how I would see it. I can't really imagine why people would have an issue with it. I think I'm going to thin this down for my second layer. IPA, yeah. I'm not sure the actual proper word for it. I know it's alcohol. First for set things up, then there's 50 books that cover all the different chapters, and it goes into Siege of Terror, as far as I understand. Yeah, a lot of it's more sort of pick and choose, I would have thought, unless you really enjoy it anyway. But the Siege of Terror books are really good. I know I'm an Imperial Fist fan, but they're really good books. It made me really like White Scars as well. Not sure why this Guilliman flesh is so dark. So I've added some contrast medium into the Guilliman flesh. I didn't want it to be as dark. Like, that's fine. It's going to give some nice sort of tone variation. I just wanted a stronger pigment, like a stronger colour, but not make it dark. That makes sense. I think that's fine there. As I said before, like a second coat of contrast is needed, but sometimes it can be too much. I'll just tend to knock it down with some contrast medium. Medieval gaming. Any advice on how to paint 20s angles skin? I'm not sure about the recipe. The Zangors. I've not really looked at doing any of those yet. What I'll do is I'll just have a look at, see how Games Workshop paint them. But in terms of painting 20 of them, you're just gonna have to get comfortable. You could. It just depends how. Obviously, 20 miniatures. You're not going to aim to get like a really display level. Maybe you just want to get like a base color and a thin wash with some simple highlights. Probably what I would go for. Or you could even do like the contrast method. But it just depends how much effort and time you want to put into them. If I was doing 20s angles, I'll definitely just do like a base color and a simple wash and a bare and a sort of like the least amount of highlights I could probably get away with. You don't need many highlights for flesh anyway. I'll start off with a light color as well, so you don't have to do too many layers. Janola, hello, welcome to the stream. I'm glad you made it. Al-Haggis evening. Yeah, my back is feeling a lot better. I've been exercising it a bit this week, and it's really helped. So I'm looking forward to just continue just doing a bit of exercise with it. But it's felt a lot better than it has in a long time, to be honest. So thank you. So that's what it was like before. I thought it was too light, so I've just added another coat there. I suppose flesh is going to be quite dark anyway, especially if it's dried. It's going to be more like leather. But there's definitely a couple of different tones in there which I wanted. You could even add like a really thin sort of wash of like Magos purple or something. It took me 3 months to paint 20 Zangors. Never want to see one again. Yeah, Zangor. I've looked at Zangors and they are quite intimidating. It's like Poxwalkers. Like Poxwalkers, there's a lot of detail in them for the amount you'd have to paint. Medieval, you were thinking about using Space Wolf Grey with Druchii Violet in the recesses. Is that Space Wolf Grey contrast paint? Let's have a look, see what that'll look like for you. I think I've got Assassin Boy, do I have any guides for jackals? I do. If you go onto the channel, there is a Gene Stealing Cult video, and it is actually jackals. And that's one of my favourite tutorials. Fortunately, it was never that popular. I got Space Wolf French. One of my favourite colours. Nice. Zachary, sable versus synthetic brush thoughts. I'm kind of trying that out at the moment, to be honest with you, because obviously I've got like your normal sort of sable brushes here, and I've got the synthetic brushes. If you're doing detail work, I like to use these, but if I'm actually layering or using contrast, because these hold more paint, so they're quite useful for different things. But at the minute, I'm kind of trying out different brushes. Make a video in the future. JD Rabbit, can you do a Hive Fleet, Leviathan, Hive Tyrant, or Tyrannifex painting guide? There is going to be more Leviathan. There is going to be more Tyranid content this year. Probably a couple of, maybe 3 videos. If I was going to do a Hive Tyrant or Tyrannifex, I would paint it pretty much exactly the same as I did my Winged Prime. Especially with like the different coloured carapaces, and I'll show you how to darken like more like the chimney, like the stacks on the back. So I'd look at that guide, because that's how I would do. That's how I'm going to get a Hive Tyrant, and that's how I'll do my Hive Tyrant. It's just a bigger warrior, basically. But I will be doing a Norn Emissary, and I want to explore some different Hive Fleets. Water Jackals. Oh, you'll have to tell me what the Water Jackals are. But I haven't done a guide for Water Jackals. If you remind me what they are, I'll have a think about how you could paint them. Nathan, I was just about to ask about brushes. What kind do you use as far as brands? I'm not really fussed about the brand. I've used different brushes. I've used Winsor & Newton. Obviously I use Citadel at the moment for the channel. I've used Expo Tools, and I've used Artis Opus. And one thing I've actually found is that price doesn't make a brush. It's always still down to the person using the brush. Just because you've spent £20 on a brush, and it's not going to automatically make you a better painter. I worry that's what people think. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of why people are so passionate about certain brushes that they like to use. Like why do they think they need this brush or that brush? Because personally, I feel like you should be able to use any brush. Now obviously the quality of the brush is important, but even good expensive brushes can be bad quality. Would love that video on brushes. So many options. I've got some Foxbite brushes lately and I like them, but always open for options. Yeah, I would say throughout the hobby, as you paint, it's always worth just trying out different brands and products anyway, because you're going to find out what you like using. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to stick to using Citadel for the channel, just, well, for now at least. For brand reasons, obviously, because I use the Citadel Paints, it makes sense. But I will explore the brushes in videos. For line highlights, I couldn't do without a Kalinsky stable. Yeah, it might be a reassurance thing or a comfort thing, maybe, I don't know. I've highlighted with the worst brushes, and obviously it does my head in. But it's more about quality of life, I suppose, than anything. As I say, I think I haven't really got a favourite brush at the moment. I've never really explored properly. Use whatever I've got. I think I'd like to try out Artis Opus again. So I remember them being quite good, but they are quite expensive. They are very expensive. I don't know what prices they are now. I know when when they first came out, you could only buy them in sets. So I'm not sure if you can buy them individually now. Could I do a tutorial of a Turvigon on the channel? When people ask very specific units or factions, the reason I don't tend to cover a lot of different things in different factions because you paint them in very similar ways. So I would again just look at what I've already got on the channel because I might cover a lot of what you need anyway. So for a Turvigon, I think that's the one that comes out the ground. But again, there's lots. I've got quite a few Leviathan videos there now, so you can look at them and pick and choose how to do certain things, like depending on how you want the carapace or the skin. But again, like later in the year, I am going to hopefully be doing a Norn Emissary and a couple of other Tyranid videos. But I'll always try and make sure I cover a good range of different ways to paint things rather than just painting different things exactly the same way every time. Is how I would see it. So for a Turvigon, I think you'd be okay going to have a look at the videos that are already there. I don't think I'll add it. There's anything extra to paint a Turvigon that I haven't done already. That makes sense. Haggis, it's important to care for your brushes. If you treat an expensive brush rough, it'll be just as bad as a cheap one in no time. That's also true. I think I'm just a rough and ready painter. Isidore, good evening, welcome to the stream. Zachary, with black armor, do you always start with white primer, rattle can primer? It depends. If I'm doing, like personally when I'm painting, I always tend to like to paint from a light undercoat anyway, because I just feel it takes a long time to build up to a colour the darker you start. Just because like the main colour for just because the armour's black, there might be a lot of different other colours on there that will benefit from a lighter undercoat. But again, just work how you want to work. You don't necessarily have to have a black undercoat to do black armor, because black is quite pigment heavy, so you only tend to need 2 coats anyway, so it's easy enough to start from a light color with it. Chris, have you done any orange schemes for any units? I haven't. I have thought about it. And it's something hopefully I will cover in the future. It's just finding like an orange colour scheme that's like a mainstream scheme to do. But how often do I play versus paint? I definitely paint more often, and I'll probably play a game maybe like once every couple of weeks. So I had a game last week. I don't tend to win my game, but I'm just there to. The Zangor skin, I don't think Space Wolf Grey is enough. Might want to do 2 coats of it. I think it's too grey. Seen about this Achillean green. Maybe like second coat. Too dark. Or even just mix. Because I know they're quite pale anyway, aren't they? Yeah, I think you might be right actually with Space Wolf. I think you'll probably just need 2 coats of it though. And it's too dark. Maybe if we thinned it down. I want to start an Emperor's Children army. I plan on doing the colour scheme where they have leopard print. Crazy. No, there's a tutorial on YouTube by Duncan when he works for Games Workshop. He painted the special edition Noise Marine. And he painted some leopard print spots on that quite easily. So they're basically just little circles, like dark circles. Then you break into them with the base colour, so they're more sort of like little horseshoes, like upside down horseshoes. As long as they look quite random, it works. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck would chuck wood? Isidore, Michael, may I ask you what your least favourite Age of Sigmar army in terms of painting is? Painting wise, I'm not sure. I've not painted everything. There's not really anything I don't like to paint. Everything's like a nice challenge. And I'm always trying to find out the mid-max in painting, I suppose, making it as nice as possible with the least amount of effort. But I'm going to explore painting some Age of Sigmar stuff this year. About to start. I'm working on 40k Chaos Legions at the moment, and then hope after that I want to do Iron Jaws. Ben, love the channel. I'm just finishing off 2 units of Squig Hog Boys using your tutorial. I'm really proud of how they turned out. I'm really glad. Yeah, so at the end of the month, in a couple of weeks, I've said last week, we're going to be doing a subscriber showcase. So if you've got stuff you want to show off to people, make sure you email some pictures for me. to contact us at tabletоpready.co.uk. I don't know how much wood a woodchuck could chuck if he chucked wood. If he chucks wood at all. But it can't be a lot. Medieval. What is the most of a unit have I painted? Probably Orc Boys at this point. Orc Boys and Space Marines. Just because I've always had an Orc, like ever since I started the hobby, I've had Orc armies and I've just painted loads and loads and loads. So and you need loads for an army anyway, so I've definitely painted hundreds. I'm probably not quite at 1,000, but I've definitely painted like 500 Orc Boys. Space Marines, I'm probably close to like a couple of hundred. Thinking about like the different armies I've done. But definitely Orc Boys is probably the most painted unit I've done. So this is thinned down Space Wolf Grey with contrast medium. I think that might be a good bet for your Zangor skin. I'm gonna let this dry. We'll do a second coat of the thin wash. We'll see how that goes. Because you might not even need a purple wash. So I don't think there's a purple tint in there. I don't know if you're trying to cover. I don't know if you're trying to replicate the box art or not. But I think this would be quite a good solution to the skin. Just because if you're doing Space Wolf Grey straight, I just think it's quite dark when they're quite pale. Have I submitted painted minis to contests? I've never really entered painting contests before. I would like to. This depends on which contests I'd like to do. But then it's having the time to paint an entry. And to be honest, it's only really recently that I feel like my painting has gotten to a point where I feel I could enter into a competition. So I'm still new to this sort of level. I feel like I've still got a long way to go. Medieval, you painted about 80 termagants and made you want to look at another termagant sprue. Yeah, I'm just working my way through 20 gaunts at the minute there, and I've got another 20 to do straight after that. But they haven't been too bad, to be fair, but I know what you mean. I see. Isidore, you asked about least favourite army to paint. Are you thinking of starting a Flesh Eater Courts army? I'm not sure if I've managed to paint them. The Flesh Eater Courts would be a really... The Age of Sigmar armies would be really good for contrast. I know I keep going on about contrast. But they work really well for things with a lot of detail. And the Flesh Eater Courts, they're mainly flesh. So I think if you look at contrast methods to get them painted, I think you should be fine. I'll let this dry and then we'll do the second coat of the light Space Wolf Grey. Get onto flesh. Yeah, I would like to enter. I was saying I'd like to enter a painting competition. I feel like it's camera. I'm leaning under like that. Yeah, but as I say, I've only really recently considered myself a capable miniature painter. I still, like, if I was to enter like a larger competition, I still feel like I wouldn't have a chance. But I would want to enter it more just for the experience. Maybe like in the next maybe 2 or 3 years, I'll definitely enter maybe Golden Demon or other competitions that are out there. Because I know Duncan started one, well, is starting one this year, so we'll see how that one goes. That might be a fun one to do in the future. Obviously, if you think about it, he's going to do one that covers more than just Warhammer, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, and with the Flesh Eater Court's army, you can have a lot of fun with it with a lot of different colours and tones. So you can get like a lot of flesh colours in there, a lot of, I know you can get like a blue tones in there as well. You can have like a mixed colour even within individual units, rather than making everything look the same. Get creative. Have fun. But Flesh Eater Court's army is definitely on my list to paint because I think that'd be a lot of fun. Models, since they relaunched the range last year, the models are amazing. As I said, they should be pretty easy to paint, especially with like a contrast method. But even if you were just doing like your basic colours, washes would be easy enough as well. Because as I say, they're very easy details. Sorry, not even. Do people play a lot of games here? Or do you guys just mainly paint? I know we've got a lot of new people to the hobby, so it does take obviously time to even paint an army to use. And this chaos warrior armor shouldn't take too long to paint. Bulk of it's what I'm getting done now. And it's just actually just a few fun bits to paint, like dragon ogres, manticore, and a demon prince and a hell cannon. I could probably have this done. That's the plan. I wouldn't mind doing an Age of Sigmar army next. Will you ever do an inhuman skin tone tutorial for Magnus or Vashtor, for example? I'm not sure. I do want to paint all the Primarchs. I'm not really sure what. I don't really think too far into the future about some tutorials that I'm doing, and even if I have an idea about what tutorials I'm going to do, tends to change on terms of what mood I'm in. But I know you'll probably find I'll paint different skin tones and colours doing the different Chaos Legions, because I plan on doing some skin tones in the Berserker video. Obviously the Emperor's Children video will need some skin tones painting, and then the Nurgle one will as well. Obviously not the Thousand Sun one, all is dust. But hopefully just as a byproduct, I'll probably include it in some future tutorials when I'm exploring painting certain factions. But I probably won't do a dedicated video to skin colours, although that's not a bad idea. Also, my most often painted unit are Dwarf Thunderers. For the old world, having painted over 60 of them, I would love to do a Dwarf army. That might be my next army I'll do. That or Empire. For my next old world army. Just really enjoying playing old world at the minute. Bringing back a lot of nostalgia for me. I just enjoy building and painting the armies. Especially to this sort of bright, vibrant style I've been doing. Obi Stonks, paint, read books, play the video games, never played a single game of the tabletop, but probably will in the future. Yeah, it's an important part of the hobby to experience, I think. Because you've got like the trifecta of the hobby. It's playing the game, painting the miniatures, and the lore. Obviously, just how you experience. Then, obviously, with the, I suppose, with computer games is like a fourth sort of aspect of the hobby. But originally, it's the tabletop, the lore, and painting miniatures. And I know easily just like for a lot of people, one tends to be more dominant than the rest. Al-Haggis, yeah, just paint. The game looks a bit complicated, to be honest. The game's not too bad. It's definitely gotten a lot simpler the past few years with the recent iterations of 40k especially. And it's just practice. The other person, they're the right person to play against will usually help you as well. It's more, I wouldn't worry too much about getting rules right. I don't think I've ever played a game of 40k where I've not had to look in the rule book or been unsure about a certain rule. Fallen, when starting the hobby, did you struggle to start painting because you were scared to mess up? I know the more you do, it, the easier it gets, but sometimes I get intimidated by it. Yeah, it's definitely a hurdle to get over. But you just have to think to yourself, you've got to do it if you want to do it. And no mistake is so bad you can't fix it. It's just about just taking your time. Because the painting is a fun part of the hobby. So to treat it like something you can mess up upsets me really. It should be something you look forward to doing. And a great place to start is with like things I've shown is you get the free miniatures with the magazine, or even just getting like the like £20 starter box with a couple of miniatures with a couple of paints are a great way to start as well. It's just, you can even go into a Warhammer store or even just your like local hobby store, and I'm sure they can let you try out painting before you do anything sort of dramatic for yourself. So there are good ways to sort of just dip your toe in. It's obviously going to be harder if you go gung-ho and buy like a whole army, expect to paint that in one weekend. I wouldn't advise that. It's just taking your time with it, just like anything. Think about entering armies on parade next time. Build building a diorama of my maggot kin. You know what? I've thought about doing these on. I think that's more appealing to me than a painting competition. I'm toying with the idea of doing Imperial Fist for raid next year. Not this year, but next. Got an idea for a board for it as well. But I think that'll be quite a nice project. But I think, yeah, armies on parade's a great idea. Isidore, I play almost every week, at least once. Usually the old world, but sometimes 40k. Very rarely Man of War. Nearly no one knows what that game is anymore. Things have been, it's been dead for like 30 years at this point. Yeah, even Man of War was before my time. I know it's you play with the ships. They did dreadfully like the box game, but I think that was a bit of a flop. I remember that game. I never got to play it, but I've seen it. Francois just painted a bog mummy, something I've never seen done. It's for a skin tone painting competition. You have to guys, you can post pictures on the TableTopReady subreddit as well. If you want to show the community what you've been working on. It doesn't have to be Warhammer miniatures. You don't have mummies in any faction now. I don't even think you have them in Tomb Kings anymore. Fearless Retailer, what are we painting? So today, I was in the mood to get started on my Warriors of Chaos army for Old World. So I'm just working on these. So we did a test model like a couple of weeks ago. But I've just bit the bullet. Just been working on those now. I'm just working on the skin, the cloaks here. They're making it a bit darker with some thinned down Guilliman's contrast to give it a bit of vibrancy and strength. Yeah, so tomorrow, guys, we've got the painting your first miniature for Age of Sigmar, and then in a couple of weeks' time, you'll start to see weekly content from me, starting with the Khorne Berserkers. The videos will be shorter, but hopefully, it'll be I can cover certain topics better, and I can cover more topics generally, rather than just having a video that's released every 2 weeks. And I think it'll be a lot easier on my brain as well. And I think it will help with the algorithm, having more frequent videos. So the first Berserker video will be sort of an easy beginner approach, and then the second video for it will be the more sort of fun advanced stuff, like the extra highlights and glazings and stuff like that. Because obviously usually now I'll put all of that into one video. I feel like the video loses energy and steam towards the end, so you don't really get the impact of all the high level stuff or the fun sort of effects and stuff you can do, because I've run out of energy to sort of add more. So I want to split the videos up so I can apply as much attention and energy into it all, if that makes sense. First name, I've not played a game yet, slowly painting my army before I play. That's fair, yeah. Because obviously if you're going to be painting, there's obviously two things you can do. You can just paint what you want to paint, or you can paint towards having an army. Fearless Retailer, I'm sure I've said hello to you about 3 times now. Hello. So I'm getting distracted by my own painting and brain. Go for it, painting. Hello. Medieval gaming. What was the first model I painted? So when I first started, I bought a beginner paint set for Space Marines. It was like from 3rd edition, so we're talking 2000. I started in I think I probably started 1998 or 1999, probably 1998, sort of halfway through the year. I think 3rd edition had just come out, but I bought a starter set with 5 Space Marines. They were like monopose, and they were stood like with their guns to the chest. But I painted them as Dark Angels, and I was really proud of them. They probably weren't good at all. I just remember I really enjoyed painting them. Kevin, welcome to the stream. How are you? Hope all is well. Finally got shipping confirmation for my Champions of Slanesh box. Yeah, people should be receiving their boxes this weekend. Let me know if you've got one. I didn't. I decided not to get one. So I just didn't want to spend the money because I knew I'd never get around to painting them all. So I'm just going to wait for them to come out in general release, and that's when I'll do a video for them. But you'll get loads of painting tutorials over the next week or two. So I didn't really want to add to that. Yeah, Isidore, yeah, it's the ones with the ships talking about Man of War. Also, let's just not mention Dreadfully. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't buy a copy of that, to be fair. It looked like a fun game and it looked great. I feel like it was very it was a bit of an odd release. It was a strange one to go straight to when they could have did like obviously they ended up doing Space Hulk. But I'm surprised they didn't do something more recognizable to start with. I think we still need more dimes. I think we still need more dime as well. Especially now we've got the old world back. I'll be 1 minute. So I'm just gonna. What I'm doing here, Medieval's talking about painting Zangor skin. He just got me interested in how you could do it. So I'm just trying out some Space Wolf grey thin with an equal amount of contrast. So I've done 1 layer of it. I'm just going to see what it's like with the 2nd layer. You can hear scratching, that's my cat. Oh yeah. I think 2 thin down layers of Space Wolf Grey is the way to go. Obviously, you do it how you want. If I was doing it. I just think, I know you're probably getting the same sort of light tone as 1 layer of Space Wolf, but 1 layer of contrast never works out, so I just feel like 2 thin layers, you build up that pigment but still keep it light as 1 layer. Because you don't even need to highlight that really, if you didn't want to. I know you wanted to put, we'll try some purple wash over it in a minute. But again, I'll thin the, because if you put purple over this now, it's just going to turn it purple. So if anyone's doing Zangor skin, just 2 thin layers, 2 thin applications of Space Wolf Grey seems to work. I think that's about the right tone and lightness for their skin. Omega Zero, hello, welcome to the stream. Hello bro, how's it going? Recently I'm planning to make my very own Tau army, and I'm going to paint my army synthwave style alongside my orc army as well with my Stormcast Eternals. Although some of my orcs are going to be sculpted by clay. It sounds like you're very adventurous. Yeah, synthwave style sounds amazing. I had this idea of doing a tutorial on Death Guard and painting Death Guard in a synthwave style. I'd still like to try that out, but I'd definitely love to try out a synthwave style. I think with the synthwave style, you'd need to probably use an airbrush. But I'd like to give it a go with brush painting. Maybe you could do washes or even use contrasts, because it's all about the blending between the colours. But good luck. Let me know how it goes. Keep us updated. Isidore, the only ways nowadays to get a taste of Man of War is either finding a game key for Man of War Corsair, which is a mediocre at best, or you buy it STL. They're great, but they're all missing something big. Yeah, it's like, I know people still play like the old Epic and War Master. I used to play War Master and Epic. I love those games. I'd love to see them come back. Omega, also I'm going to draw some orc weapons as well, and even different Warhammer tanks that I'm going to draw. Yeah, then. Do it. They're all missing the classic detailed and iconic sails, which are all like a core part to the whole identity of the game. Yeah, can't really remember much about the Man of War miniatures. There's probably definitely a lot of proxies out there for a lot of the older games. Ben Presley, do you use an airbrush? I do have an airbrush, but I don't use it for Warhammer miniatures. I mainly use it for scale modelling. Just because with scale modelling, they're just bigger and you just tend to do flat colours. All the highlights and stuff with it come with like washes and stuff, whereas miniatures, I just prefer the brush painting approach. Medieval, I'm thinking the same thing. I would put Druchii Violet in the recesses, like the muscles. Yeah, we'll try that out, because I think you would have a real headache trying to do a recess shade, a natural recess shade with it. But I think if you thin down Magos Purple, because you've got, like you mentioned, Druchii Violet, I just think Magos Purple is a lot softer colour, whereas Druchii Violet's quite intense. But we'll try both. Do it now. Bees in. Do I varnish over the miniatures? I don't use varnish, just because any kind of varnish you use, whether it be like gloss varnish or matte varnish, it will affect the look and finish of your miniature. Especially if you spent like 3 days painting a miniature, you've done highlights, shades, like chunky highlights, and there's a lot of subtle tones. That a varnish can just get rid of that instantly. Just because the varnish is going to affect how light interacts with your miniature. Those different tones and colours aren't going to reflect back off because of the varnish. That doesn't mean, if you want to varnish your miniatures, just be aware. I would try it on one that you don't care about, just to see if it's something you want. But you don't tend to need to varnish your miniatures if you're worried about them being chipped or damaged. Because the paint, because with an undercut over plastic, and when the paint's dried after a couple of days, it's pretty durable. So you don't need it for protection, at least. A lot of the time people use varnishes for techniques and protect what they've painted from, say, like enamels that they're about to use to weather it, is what you would use varnishes for, not necessarily to protect your miniature, because I know, like, let's say in DIY, you use varnish on like wood and stuff that are going to be outdoors to protect it from the elements. But obviously, you're just keeping your miniatures indoors. Omega Zero, thanks man, I'll keep you updated in my Warhammer projects, especially my Warhammer fan arts that I've been doing as well. Yeah, guys, you've got r/TableTopReady you can go to. Share your hobby projects on there. As well, we do have a Discord, but to get access to the Discord, you'll have to join Patreon or become a channel member. But you do get access to the Discord through that, where you can share stuff to the other members there. Oh, that's a name. Everyone. You'll have to like give me phonetically. Thank you. Welcome to the stream. Everyone. You'll have to let me know if that's how it's said. I'm using some of my plastic men as a test for painting my miniatures, and recently clay model for a Tau helmet. And I use darker purples and dark things for the synthwave colour palette. Yeah, always do a test. Always test it out. A purple synthwave Tau army sounds really fun. You probably want to. So you probably go like dark at the bottom and then obviously lighter. It's kind of like zenithal highlighting, if you know what that is. But instead of obviously grey tones, you're picking a colour. So I'm just going to try out Magos Purple, but I am going to thin it down. I'm going to thin it down with Lamy Medium because it's going to be a wash rather than being used as a contrast. So I'm going to mix an equal amount of Lamy Medium because Lamy Medium dries slower than the contrast medium. So it's got more time to run off the flat surfaces. So we'll do half Magos. Then half Druky Violet. Oh, that looks quite nice. Now I'm just going to try it with Druky Violet, and I'm again going to mix in an equal amount of Lamy Medium. They're the two. Now, a shade is a lot thinner than contrast, so your Druky Violet might actually work better. It's definitely a lot subtler. Maybe try Druky Violet on its own. Let that dry. So that side is the Magos, thin Magos Purple, and that's the Druky Violet, just as. There's not really any difference, to be honest. The Magos has a tendency to sit on the flat areas a bit more. Whereas the Druky Violet will go into the recesses. But the purple adds quite a nice tone, to be fair. Not a bad shout. Maybe thin the Druky Violet down just a little bit. Even with just a small amount of water, you can get away with. But yeah, give it a try. That's definitely need a bit more experimenting. That's probably, if I ever did a Zangor video, I'd probably do that approach, just because I know anyone's going to be painting a large amount of them anyway. So I think I'm happy with, so I've been working on these guys today, if you've just shown up. And I just wanted to darken the flesh. It was quite light earlier, and I'm quite happy with it now. Do you think that mix could be used for Slanesh Demon Skin? Yeah, absolutely. They're a lot paler as well, aren't they? Yeah, I think this mixed together would be quite nice for the Demonettes. You're right. The purple tone. I think what we're going to do next. So the only details kind of left to do are the belts and buckles and all these little stone runes. So I think we'll work on nice and silicon and grey. I contrast that. Frank M. What kind of scale modelling do you do? Aviation armor, auto, etc. At the moment, I'm doing a lot of planes, but I'm interested in doing some cars as well. I'm interested in having a look at seeing what Formula 1 kits are out there. But I really want to try out a Tamiya kit, like a car Tamiya kit. One man, one stylist. You've got Amanda Shadderson as a present. Have I ever painted her? I haven't. She's a character I want to paint for the channel though. It probably won't be any time soon, but she's on the list of characters that I want to do. But hopefully with this weekly content coming soon, that means more videos and more opportunities to paint more things. What I'm hoping. Like everyone here, you guys tend to, obviously a lot of my videos have more advanced stuff later on in the video, and obviously different levels of highlights. I wonder how many people actually go that far with their miniatures, or are you still sort of learning the basics? I always wonder how much do I need to put into a video. I think that's why I quite like the idea of splitting the two different approaches up into two different videos. I just think it's easy to watch for people, more streamlined. Daniel Bakell. Well, you keep seeing the back of my head. My eyesight's really bad today. Daniel, welcome to the stream. Hello. Been thinking about kit bashing some dreadnoughts to make a Black Templar dread. Take the axe from the Space Wolf's Venerable and maybe a cannon for the other arm. That sounds like a great idea. Something you can have a look at as well is some of the Sisters of Battle miniatures, especially maybe like their tanks and stuff. Because I feel like Black Templars and Sisters of Battle share a lot of the same sort of more zealot gothic style. I think you could have a look at the Sisters of Battle vehicles at least. Might find some cool stuff to use from them. Frank M, nice. I have some Tamiya World War II planes I'm trying, and Oshima Nissan. Yeah, at the minute I've got a couple of airfix kits that I'm working on. I've got a Lancaster and a Mosquito, which are both planes. But I wanna do F-14 jet. A Mega. I also made a Tau shotgun based on the 1887 Winchester shotgun. I'm still thinking what colour palette I could take it for drawing. You could always like do a quick sketch and try different colours out, or do what other people have done, getting some reference. I always find if you're trying to like work with colours, people talk about the colour wheel. What colours go like the colours that complement there. So it's definitely worth having a look at what colours work with each other, because obviously you're going to do purple armour, so it'll be worth looking at something that'll work with the purple. Obi Stonks, I like the full package with your videos. Only thing I'd ask for would be to put the full list of paints and tools at the start of the video, like on Citadel tutorial vid, so I can just get everything out. I used to do that. It takes a lot of time. I do put all the paints in the description, so if you do need that, you can just bring up the description and the full list of paints and brushes are in there. Yeah, because I did used to do that. I just felt like, because I show them on the screen as I use them and they're in the description, I think it's kind of overkill, and it kind of breaks the flow of the video, because you're automatically stopping the pausing the video anyway. Jan, I prefer to get an insight into other people's approach to painting. Yeah, I want to. That's a great thing. I do watch other people's content as well, and I love looking at different styles. And one of the things I want to do this year is spend time trying out different styles. I think it can only improve my painting. So synthwave's obviously style, grim dark's a style. All these things I want to have a go at and see how I would approach doing them. Because not everybody just wants to paint what things look like on the box, and I appreciate that. I feel like I'm going to get stuck in my ways if I stick to that as well. I feel like I've conquered that mountain to the level that I'm happy with at the moment, so I am curious enough to start exploring different things myself. Francois, I regressed. I like playing Apocalypse, so for me it's more about getting playable game pieces than having art on the game table. To meet goals, I've had to learn cheats and hacks to save time. Yeah, it's another approach to painting, is just painting things to get it on the tabletop, and that's the way of doing it as well. That's why for a lot of my personal stuff I like using contrast paints, because I'm not so fussed about them looking amazing. I just want them looking good enough so I can get them on the tabletop and have fun with them. I personally only go that far for characters, war machines and big centerpiece models, because quite frankly I'm never quite in the mood to edge highlight. That's also great point. Not every miniature needs to be painted to the same standard in your army. And I don't think people say that enough content. I know I don't. I think sort of show off as well. How to approach painting a whole army. Characters to your basic sort of infantry. Ray Gaming, thank you very much for subscribing. Esquire, thank you very much for subscribing if you're here. You do display piece for competitions, but it's very different skill. I agree with that as well. So yeah, you're probably right. I think it's good having like the mix of different levels of painting in the videos. That's because obviously it's just a tier. It's just a tier of levels at some point. So even if I'm teaching the basic, build on top of those, go the sort of the next step. Jan, having models that look the part on the table brings my games to life, and I care more about every single unit. I don't want any of them to die bad death. I like that as well. It is very nice having nice painted army tabletop as well. It does help with the immersion. But you are going to lose every unit you've just newly painted in the game. Usually the first unit that dies I've found. Especially if I've just spent 2 weeks painting 30 Orc boys. They do the jump and then they just get shot with bolters. Just like heartbreaking. And you just wonder, you're just standing there going, why haven't Orcs got any kind of save? I haven't played Orcs in the new edition, which I would love to. I just need to find someone to play 40k with in a minute. Alminiturista. Have a look. Have a look. Jan, I hate edge highlighting. Yeah, you have to. For me, I do like edge highlighting, but I do need to be in the mood for it, especially to do 4 different levels of highlights for Space Marines. I think I've got like 5 Ultramarines that have been sat on my shelf like a good part of a year, ready to do some highlighting. It's just getting started. I know I'll be fine when I've started, but again, it's just that intimidation. I know what you mean. You only have to paint these miniatures once, as I keep saying, and then get to use them for as long as you've got them. I paint the Quillers on my Imperial Fist with Screamer Pink and the little skull with Lead Belcher. Yeah, that Screamer Pink's a colour for it. But the colour I tried out my ones that I've done. I do a mix of Blood Angels Red and Volupus Pink, because I'm obviously using contrast to paint them, but I find that mix is quite good. It's quite still a dark purple, like a dark pink purple. So I find it quite hard to go quite light, like a light pink with contrast. But Screamer Pink is what I would use, definitely use if I was doing it with layer paints, base paint. You could highlight using a dry brush. I've just gotten used to just doing it as line highlighting. I don't tend to use dry brushing that often in my own painting. I think it's a bit messy for me personally, but it's definitely a way to do your highlights, especially if you aren't heavy with it. Use a smaller brush than you think you need and get more control. Omega, I use larger bottle caps for my bases, for my miniatures, especially plastic bottle caps, big one. Is that to mount them? Frank M. Al Miniaturista is the king of glow effects. Extremely smooth, very talented. Yeah, I'll definitely have a look. That's something I want to explore this year, is light sources and glow effects myself. I've never quite managed to sort of get it to where I'm happy with it. Jan, I used your Orc skin vids to paint my Black Orc Blood Bowl team. I'd love to see them. Make sure, email me some pictures. Yeah, Mega, I'd be interested to see some of this, these drawings you're doing. Francois, a small flat tip brush is better for dry brushing than makeup brushing. I've not tried the sort of like the feathered makeup well brushes for dry brushing yet. I know they're quite popular at the moment, but I've always just stuck with the flat tipped flat brushes style of dry brushing. I feel like the makeup brush is very good for flat areas where you're trying to get soft tones. You're very welcome, Jan. I get a lot of satisfaction helping people. I love doing it. That's why I like spending. That's why I love these live streams. Gives it's like a one-on-one with you guys, sort of an instant interaction, and you can get my true weirdness and awkwardness person. I've got to sort the sound out for this. I feel like I should be able to listen to the music you guys are listening to, because I'm sitting in silence. Stephen, welcome, good to see ya. Blame Dexter, now that's it. Warm. Oh, now that it's warm out, I can finally start priming models. I tried painting without priming, and it sucks. Yeah, especially if you're painting a large amount of miniatures, I would undercoat and prime miniatures, just because the paint goes down better. You don't need as many layers. Stephen, what did you miss? We've just been answering lots of questions like we did last week. I'm working on all my Warriors of Chaos stuff. Started painting them all today. Alex, just wanted to pop in on my break at work and thank you for giving me inspiration when I first started the hobby. It was kind of stressful at first, but your videos helped me get my Tyranids finished. Thank you very much, Alex. I really appreciate you taking the time to say that. Thank you. As I said just now, I love doing it. Very rewarding helping people. Knowing that you guys can sort of get into the hobby and start painting. I know how difficult it is. There's a lot of information out. Frank M, you'll need headphones just so your microphone doesn't pick up the music. Yeah, I have got some. I need to get some. I just wasn't sure how I'd feel about having headphones while doing hobby, because it's just an extra wire. Like you can't see like the laptop here, so it's got quite a few wires everywhere. But it's something I'm probably gonna look into soon. Ryan, welcome. Fell asleep. Okay. Finally, you're here at least now. Omega, you mostly post your drawings on your community tab and sometimes in your Twitter, but I'm just taking my time with some of the pictures that I'm doing. Good. Yeah, that's a great way to enjoy the hobby. I love seeing people's artwork as well. Great way to enjoy the hobby. I wish I had time to draw more. Very rarely just feel in the mood to do any kind of drawing. Medieval, now is the time to say goodnight. Well, thank you very much for being here. And good luck with these angles. If you start them soon, let me know how you get on with them. Hopefully I've been able to help a little bit. These Chaos Warriors have been sitting on my shelf for like a year because I was intimidated to paint them. But you know what? They're not that bad. I should probably listen to my own advice, really. Shouldn't just get stuck in. Because once you've figured out how to paint everything, just sort of go through the motion. Not been too bad. Oh, I need to do flesh on the paws. Probably leave those for tomorrow. I'm just looking for all these little stones. When I finish the last thing I'm going to do on these is paint these little recesses, like the little runes. So I'll do them Wraithbone, and I'll probably apply the Fugal Orange, Griffhound Orange contrast, give the glow. Francois, first model of a new unit type is always the hardest. You're absolutely right. It takes the longest as well, as you try and figure out, kind of like feeling your way. But you're right, that's why confidence is important, because it speeds you up as well. Because once you know something looks good, to get stuck in. Yeah, I'm not sure about, because there's like these scales here. Not sure about the colours for these, but what I'll do is I'll wait until the armour's painted. I just feel like, because it's next to the white, because the armour's really light at the moment, might look different. But I just wouldn't know what are the colours to paint the like the scales and the lizard skin. I think maybe highlights would probably help it. Everything is fixable. So tomorrow evening is the painting your first miniature AOS edition with the Stormcast and Skaven. It's been a long journey getting the 3 videos out. I am glad they're done now. I'm glad I have done them. It'll be nice to get more people interested in Age of Sigmar coming around the channel. So I will be doing more Age of Sigmar tutorials this year. Metallic green scales on black skin, blue glaze. Yeah, it's kind of like, you'd probably think like that, but Alpha Legion, I think, is quite good. I was thinking about sort of like a metallic approach to these guys this morning. Like, how would I do them if I undercoat them, say, with like lead belcher armor? But shimmering scales would be quite interesting. Yeah, dark elf cold ones. I have to send a picture. You know, I'm going to come to the end of them. Find that off me. Well, I saw a film I saw the other day in the week was Mickey 17 with Robert Pattinson. Really good. He's a pretty good actor as he is. I think the last thing I saw him in was the Batman, which I enjoyed as well. I'm becoming quite a fan of it. Ryan Potter, with my slaves to darkness are primed with chaos black. Dry brush lead belcher onto my chaos warriors and knights. Yeah, that's what I kind of want to explore, doing a dark metallic armor for the characters. So I've got this guy on foot here, and got the guy for the chariot as well, which I'm going to treat as a character. So I'm going to, rather than doing black armor, I'm thinking I'm going to do like a dark silver. So I'll probably like mix like a silver and black together, just so they stand out against the rest of the army. But we'll see how that looks when I get to it. I'm losing track of which one's done. You're done, you're done. Done. They're done. Do the knight. So I've got 5 knights. I'm doing everything at the same time. But not. Druki Violet and Drakenhof Nightshade look good on lead belcher armor. Yeah, I really do like different colours of Alex. Nate, hello. Hey man, I'm a newbie to Warhammer 40k, and your beginner tips videos have been really helpful. Thanks for the content. You're very welcome. I'm really glad you enjoy the content. Thank you for coming in and letting me know. Makes it worth doing. Ryan, I chose to go dark with my sleeves. The guy you've got standing, I love painting. I'll send you an image of Commander Bastion I converted and used as my Chaos Lord. Yeah, do it. I'd love to see it. I love seeing what people have done. If you didn't know already, in a couple of weeks' time, I'm going to be doing a subscriber miniature showcase. So please email me images of you're working on or have finished to tabletop. Contact us at tabletopready.co.uk. The links for it's all in the description of our videos. And I'll pick some to show off on this on stream in a couple of weeks. I always enjoy when we do that. I think we've done 3, so be number 4 coming up. I think it's the nights that have been really intimidating. Just because it's going to be difficult to get into the details there. I don't know why they didn't leave the shield, like give you the option to keep the shield off while you paint it, because you can with the warriors on foot. These were really difficult to put together. Someone went out of the way to make them really complicated. More than necessary. I've got to think about how I'm going to do the horse's fur. That'll be something I'll do tomorrow. Seems to be many of those stone runes. So next week I'll be doing a live stream on the Sunday evening, same time at 6 o'clock. We'll have a look, see how far I've got with these Chaos Warriors. I'll probably try and think of something to show off and demonstrate next week. I'll have to have a think about what I can do. Maybe we could do some kind of theory. What we covered. We've done contrast, we've done transfers, done a bit of highlighting, which was a little bit difficult to show on stream. We've done picking colours, building miniatures, sub-assemblies. I'll have to have a think. It'll be quite fun. I have got Ultramarines up there to do their bases. I think I'll save that for a live stream. Again, that's not really learning because I'll probably only have the time to actually apply the textured. Or maybe I'll do the texture, let that dry and then finish them on stream. Or I could do it across 2 streams. With the Dark Oath Raiders box, I got tired of painting the miniatures. I left them for a few weeks to come back to them, but didn't enjoy the box as much compared to the standard slave spearhead. Why do you think that is? Because I'll probably get around to doing the Dark Oath box, which I really like the look of. You think it's because you'd prefer just painting like the Chaos Warrior style? Because that can be disheartening when you buy something that's not as enjoyable to paint as you think it is. It can then become quite a slog. Hoping I've got all the little stone rooms. We'll probably go for about another 10-15 minutes as I finish up. I think I'm starting to fall asleep now. It's been a long week. I spent a lot of the week editing, getting ready for new content. Never Lost Man. Your Ultramarines painting video is what I have watched at least 20 to 30 times to build and paint my first set of Warhammer. Really glad. I'm really proud of the Ultramarine content. Let us know what you've painted. So for these guys, you've got I don't know what they call these, like tassels. On the box, they're a turquoise colour. I don't think I like the idea of doing them like a turquoise. Thinking I might do them Blood Angels red. Janine Kirsch, I love your tutorials. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming in and letting me know. Really appreciated. Glad. I'm really enjoying doing these live streams as well. It obviously just gives us all an opportunity to talk with each other outside the videos, which I'm really enjoying doing. I'm hoping more people can come me live. I'll do my best to be as entertaining or as informative about paint. Yeah, so I think I want these to be quite dark, so I'm definitely going to be doing 2 coats of the Blood Angel. Because the cape is a mix of Blood Angels and Bile Red, so it's a different colour anyway. So just doing the Blood Angels contrast is a different red at least. But I think I prefer it to the turquoise colour you see on the box. Obi Stonks, fun stream, mate. Off now. Catch up with you next week. Thank you very much for being around. Next stream's going to be next Sunday at 6 o'clock. Just enjoyed the Warriors and Knights aspect of painting and building. Just got tired of painting flesh, I guess. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, the sculpts for the Dark Oath mini are lovely. It's definitely a range that needed to be brought in, like the Marauders, more like the human sort of Chaos Cults, opposed to just Chaos Warriors. So they're definitely something I'll add to this army, but probably not anytime soon. We're sort of working up to a 2,000 point list for these guys, which are just Chaos Warrior based. Squig Burger, hello. Going really well. I'm just painting some Chaos Warriors. And we are probably only going to be going for about another 15 minutes. Starting to wind down, I think. But again, I'll just go through what's going on. Tomorrow is the next video on the channel, which is painting your first miniatures for Age of Sigmar. So it's painting, it's a similar vein to the 40k one, where you use the magazine, the 3 miniatures in that painting tool set. But it's obviously going to be the Skaven and Stormcast. Next week I'm going to be streaming on the Sunday at 6 o'clock. In a couple of weeks' time I'm going to be starting weekly content, starting with Khorne Berserker content. I'm going to start working on that tomorrow. I thought I might have content out for next weekend, but I think I need an extra week to get set up to start it, you know what I mean. I still need to sort of figure out what it looks like, but it's definitely going to start the week after, so it'll be 2 videos of Khorne Berserkers one after the other, then hopefully Thousand Suns, then Emperor's Children, then Death Guard. Then at the moment in my mind it's going to be Iron Jaws, hopefully. After that I'm not quite sure. Might explore some more theory videos as opposed to painting tutorials. Janine, what's your favourite orc faction? The orcs that I paint for 40k are the Goths. I'm a huge fan of Flashgits though. They're freebooters. But to be fair, I love all kinds of orcs. So the Age of Sigmar Crawl Boys orcs I love. I've got a Night Goblin army. I'm going to be doing a Savage Orc army soon. I'll be finishing those Crawl Boys. Iron Jaws I love. I just think generally orcs are my favourite faction. And it doesn't really matter what kind of orc. Orcs, goblins, I enjoy them all because they never fail to have character. The way you play with them in games, it's just a lot of fun, even if you don't always win with them. Just trying to find all these tassels. But if my favourite kind of orc, I'll probably say is from the old world. Just because I like having giants and trolls, etc. Yeah, the Goths are really good. Because I'm a very I like close combat. And Ghazghkull's one of my favourite characters. I think I've got about 120 boys painted, so they're all in trucks, and I just like to get on fighting as fast as I can. What do I think is going to be the main enemy faction in Space Marine 3? Probably Necrons. Or you've got the Chaos with Tyranids. Tyranids are very organic, so I feel like the other faction that sort of a general public will understand are Necrons. Because what else have you got? You've got Gene Stealer cults, but they'll be quite hard to explain. And you've already got the Tyranids out. You've got Chaos, which they've already sort of included, so they'll probably just include more of those anyway. Really, everything else is just sort of like a variation, so it kind of has to be Necrons. I think people were asking for Necrons as sort of like added content for Space Marine 2, so it just makes sense. You've obviously got orcs, but they were in the first game. But yeah, I just feel like Necrons are the obvious choice. I've not played Space Marine. I haven't got anything to play on really. I don't have any console. Well, I have a Switch, but obviously you don't play Space Marine 2 on a Switch. I definitely can't play on this laptop. Hardly stream on this laptop. A game I do want to play is Bolt Gun. I know that's tied into the Space Marine franchise. Yeah, you have got Eldari to be fair, but I feel like Necrons are very obvious bad guy. They look like a bad guy. Whereas a general public or sort of a general audience, Space Elves, they're kind of too middle of the road. Maybe they'll include Necrons and Eldari. Because I suppose you've got Drukhari. But again, I feel like Necrons, because they're like robots, something very different to what they've done already. I loved playing Space Marine. Played that so much. Just had the orcs in as well. Such a good story. A great sort of representation of Warhammer universe. Right then, I think we're going to call it a night. I am just about to fall asleep now. But thank you very much, everyone. An absolute pleasure. It's been great talking to you all, answering your questions. And thank you, everyone, for your kind messages as well. It really means a lot. So yeah, next week on Sunday, I'm going to be streaming on at 6 o'clock again. I'll put a post out in the middle of the week. Just to give you guys some advance warning rather than just on the day. I was going to do it this week, but I didn't have the time because I've been in and out and editing and stuff. But hopefully this week I'll put a reminder during the week for everybody that I'll be streaming on Sunday. But again at 6 o'clock. What we're going to be doing, I'm not quite sure yet. I'll decide in the next couple of days. I'd like to do something more dedicated to show you guys on the stream rather than just painting. William, hello, welcome. Hopefully we'll see you all next Sunday. Enjoy your week, guys. Oh yeah, you've got Tau as well. That'll be quite an interesting one. Obviously they're anime guys. But again, thank you everyone. Enjoy your week, and I shall see you next Sunday. And remember, tomorrow evening is a new Tabletop Ready video, so make sure you like and comment on the video for me. Thank you. Enjoy yourselves.